Welcome back into that Sean podcast. Is I, Big Ush, is he, the Cat Daddy. Cat Daddy, what's on your mind?
The college football season may be over, officially over, but guess what? It's our favorite time of the year. It is draft season time. We've got the Senior Bowl going on this week. We've got
West Shrine game happen.
West Shrine. We've got the Combine right around the corner. And the talk about hand size is just eating up. That's what she said.
Double jointed. All right, getting right into it. We're not going to talk really about the East-West Shrine game because, I mean, honestly, we're amateur. I mean, we could get in depth. We could talk about Charleston and Rambo and some of the other guys, but we're not going to get into it.
Senior Bowl's where it's at.
Get into the Senior Bowl. Starting with the Senior Bowl. We're going to talk about some of the guys who had really good days, and we're going to start with these quarterbacks. We're going to see the quarterbacks that did really well, some quarterbacks struggled, and surprisingly, from what I'm hearing, the two quarterbacks that had the best day could not be more different. Mr. Double Jointed himself apparently had a really good day. Just displayed great command of the pocket, doing the huddle, doing the from center, not doing everything from the shotgun. I mean, hand size regardless. He did well. He showed out. He showed what he can do. The other guy, and this is to Sean's surprise, maybe or maybe not. Malik Willis out of Liberty apparently showed off like he was pretty much the most talented guy in the field, and you could tell, at least from the quarterback spot. His arm strength, his mobility, the what he can do was on display. This guy, legit, if he gets the right coaching, is going to be a monster. This is literally. I said in a different episode that Daniel Jones was Josh Allen light beer. Apparently Malik Willis is looking like Josh Allen 2.0. Any thoughts on these two guys, Sean?
Oh. No, it's still early.
It is. It's one practice.
Yeah.
But apparently Malik Willis turned some heads.
And that's a good thing. That's a good thing with the year he had and all the questions that were surrounding level of competition, his level of play.
It's just interesting, the comparisons, because people want to compare Kenny Pickett to Joe Burrow. And Kenny Pickett came out and had a solid day. People now are probably going to... I'm starting this. Comparing Malik Willis to Josh Allen, because Josh Allen had that up and down year, came to the Senior Bowl and showed out. So if Malik Willis continues to show out, he could rise up these draft boards.
Yeah, I thought Carson Strong did pretty well today too. I know there was clips of him.
He struggled a little bit with the deep passing though, deep passing accuracy.
He did, but that can be. I mean, this is day one. You got timing issues that you're working with. These are completely new players that he's with, so there's a little bit of room. But
there is that, yeah.
What was encouraging was seeing his pocket presence, him moving around, because one of the big criticisms on him was, well, he's not as mobile as all the other ones, but he doesn't have to be mobile. He can navigate the pocket, find that sweet spot, and get that throw off. That's what he was showing today, and that's what I liked.
Desmond Ridder. Apparently, he was good, but was like this is not the situation that you want to see for Desmond Ridder, because he's just going to be good in this situation. Like, he's not, like, it's not a situation. This is his comfort zone. A situation like this, apparently, where he can just, do what he does. The big one was apparently the guy who a lot of eyes were on, who apparently had the best deep ball accuracy with the, like you said, the little bit of work with you get with these guys, was Sam Howell. And we knew he was good at that, but to be on the same page with some of these guys already, apparently Sam Howell had the best with that. But the main thing that people want to see, apparently he had a really good day, but people want to see how he takes snap from the center, because he didn't do that much at all, if at all, at UNC.
Yeah, and I think Sam Howell's on the team with the Detroit coaching staff, and I think
yes, he is.
I think Mark Brunell is the quarterback coach for that team, for that roster. So I think that's going to be really good for Howell. Very encouraging that he played as well as he did, or just played his skills as well as he did.
Well, I mean, any NFL coach is going to be like, I like that deep ball.
Oh, but what have we been saying all year? We're like, Sam Howell, the tools are there, the ability's there. It's just he was not surrounded with the same level of talent, which really affected the numbers and the wins.
But the biggest surprising thing was the O-line. It was the same O-line, but it didn't play to the same level that it did in the year previous. That was what was so surprising.
Yep. So you got all those.
All right.
Got
next
coaching
up,
staffs. You got executives down there, and they're all watching these 6 quarterbacks.
Next up, we're gonna move on from quarterbacks. Those were the quarterbacks showing out. Apparently, Bailey
Zappi
apparently had a really good day too. But I want to talk about some of these other guys. One of Sean's, one of Cat Daddy's pet cats. Oh, he dominated.
What?
He dominated. And I know you guys haven't seen it yet, but Cat Daddy's going to be coming out with his pet cat segments. And this guy, I know this guy's already on the radar, but this was a pet cat before Cat Daddy knew what a pet cat was. This guy's a guy who Cat Daddy was talking about before I was talking about. So that, I'm saying. And that is Jermaine Johnson II out of Florida State. Was just murdering fools all day long. Just as Darian Kennard.
Those were really fun to watch. Kennard versus Johnson. That was really good. That was entertaining.
I know Kennard got him the one, but Johnson made Kennard look so bad on one of those reps. I would just sat down personally.
Yes. He looked good. I liked it. Majay Sanders looked good going against the Minnesota Behemoth. Daniel Falele. It looks like Falele, he's got the size. Everybody's talking about the size, but I knew he already had the size. I knew he was like 6'7", 6'8". I knew he was pushing 380. So I knew the size was there. But watching him go against Majay Sanders, a speed rusher, is really going to show teams, is he going to be capable of playing against those speed rushers? Because we saw Evan Neal in the playoff struggle against Majay Sanders.
True. All right, so one of my pet cats, we could say, another guy rising up the boards. I get it. People know who he is. Zion Johnson. This dude came out, was a beast. He's going to be a stud left guard. He's making himself some money. And at least on day one, he has.
That's good. A guy for me that I'm really high on who had a slightly poor showing today was Trevor Penning, offensive tackle from Northern Iowa. He did. I hope he rebounds the rest of the week, because that's a guy I've been high on this entire season.
Now back to the defense, because that's where I like it. Perrion Winfrey, Devontae Wyatt, and Travis Jones, these defensive tackles, were showing up and doing work. Just saying.
I didn't see much of the defensive line. See those guys. Someone I thought who looked really good, Roger Mccreery, Auburn cornerback. He made some. Right. He made plays, but the coverage was there. You saw the coverage skills. That's exactly what you wanted to see out of him.
Kobe Bryant also. Kobe Bryant had some good reps, but a guy who is showing up and probably making himself some money in this offseason because it's a guy who hasn't been on anybody's radar, probably because of where he played. Kirby Joseph.
From Illinois, right?
From Illinois. He had a really good day, and he's showing up.
Teams going to have questions about him. Like, you saw the ability, you saw the skill up there, and that was fantastic to see. But then you think he didn't become a starter at Illinois until his final season. That's going to raise a lot of flags right there. Like, what do you mean you can crack the Illinois roster until your final season? But yeah,
one more guy I want to put out there because I know people. Well, some other guys. Charlie Kohler, massive dude, and then Romeo Dubes, doing some work.
Yes, Carson Strong's running mates. Yeah,
Christian Watson also, North Dakota State, showing some stuff, and then one more receiver. What's his name? Khalil.
Shakir
out of Boise State, I believe.
Yep.
He was looking pretty good. Also, he beat down Kobe Bryant on one rep.
And then let's see who else I got notes for. I think those might have been all of the guys. I'm trying to find who ran the route against Kobe because there was a one-on-one. It was Kobe
versus Khalil. I believe that was. Oh, you mean the one where Kobe did well, or the one where they got him?
No, it's the one where Kobe did well, and the wide receiver ran a horrible route.
I don't remember that one.
I saw that was.
I don't remember who's running against him now.
But the route running was so bad.
Before we get into our position series, I just want to put a moment of silence out there for Jackson Kirkland. He's opting out of the draft due to injury. Never great to hear that. Hope the kid is doing well. Hopefully he can play again. I don't know exactly what the injury is. It's got to be something if he's opting out of the draft.
Got to be something major. Yeah.
All right. Next up is we're gonna get right into our position series. We're going to start with our corners. And, Cat Daddy, who was number 5 for you in the summer?
All right, let me pull that up real quick. Who do we got? Number 5 in the summer was Trent Mcduffie from Washington. All right, so my number 5 now is Roger Mccreery from Auburn. So he's a guy played primarily man coverage. I'm not sure how much zone he actually, but we saw good recognition. We saw good reaction. The speed is good, but it's not great. He may have problems against some of the faster receivers in the NFL, but he does have good recovery. May have problems against some of the bigger wide receivers.
He doesn't have the greatest length.
No, but he is willing and capable as a run defender, and I can see him starting day one as a second cornerback and eventually becoming that cornerback one for a team.
All right, so my number 5 in the summer was Sevion Banks, Ohio State, and I don't think anybody had as big of a fall as Sevion Banks did.
Number 5. Spencer Rattler?
Maybe. I was talking about more in the cornerback situation. But my number 5 now is Trent McDuffie out of Washington. Again, this guy doesn't miss tackles. This guy's a tackling machine. He's probably going to play more of a tweener position between safety and corner. But this guy's got a lot of... It's just a good football player here. Regardless if he's the fastest guy, regardless if he's the biggest guy, this guy's a very good football player. I see him in the New England-style defense. And this guy's going to be doing some good stuff in the league.
Yeah, I like Trent McDuffie too. He was my number 5. He is not in my top 5 now, but it's not because he played bad or he played poorly at Washington. It's because everybody else, I thought, played just slightly better than he.
I got you.
So, my number 4 in the summer was Ahmed Sauce Gardner from Cincinnati. My number 4 now is Kair Elam from Florida. He's got the size he's looking for. He's got the speed you're looking for. Coverage is good because he's got the size, the speed, the quickness, the athleticism to keep up with all the wide receivers. Biggest area of opportunity for him is going to be tackling and wrapping up. That needs a little bit of improvement for the NFL.
Toughness too.
Yeah, and that's why he didn't make it into my top 3 for this group, because he's not overly physical, but that coverage ability is what's going to get him paid.
All right, just disclosure, no Kair Elam on my top 5. My number wasn't one in the summer either. My number 4 guy is Ahmad Sauce Gardner from Cincinnati as well. But my number 4 guy right now is Roger Mccreery out of Auburn. Again, not the most ideal size, not the most ideal speed, but I think he's got really nice quickness. His coverage ability is very nice, and he, unlike Kair, he is physical. He will bring it. He reminds me of a better version of Jordan Lewis, who came out of Michigan, who plays on Dallas currently, who had a resurgent career this past year. I think Mccreery could do a lot of things. He could be probably your starting nickel right now. And people know nickel's very important.
Becoming more important year after year.
Number 3 for you.
All right, so now I gotta preface all of this by saying, just like how I felt with the interior defensive line and edge, linebacker, I think the cornerback class isn't as easy as 1, 2, 3. For me, it's like 1A, 1B, 1C. These 3 guys are really close together. But in the summertime, my number 3 cornerback was Andrew Booth Jr. from Clemson. My number 3 or 1C quarterback now would be Andrew Jr. from Clemson. Did the stock fall a little bit this year because he was playing on and underachieving in a disappointing Clemson team?
I don't think so.
I think it did a little bit, because if they weren't winning the ball games, they weren't getting that national spotlight.
But he was doing his job.
Exactly. The Clemson defense was still one of the best units in the country. He was still playing solid, not outstanding for Clemson. He's got a good combination of size, speed, athleticism. He excels in man-to-man coverage, and that's where he's going to display those great instincts, great anticipation. You can put him on an island out there, and that's probably one of the best things about him. You don't got to give him help. You just put him out there, and you don't have to worry. Zone coverage could use some work, though, but it wouldn't surprise me if he ended up being the first cornerback off the board.
No joke. All right, my number 3 guy was Trent McDuffie in the summer. My number 3 guy right now, Derek Stingley Jr., LSU. And here's the thing. Derek Stingley Jr. is also the most talented corner in this draft. The problem is injuries. It's the only reason why I dropped him is injuries. This guy, if he's healthy, is a legit stud. I have no doubts that he can be a playmaker for any team. He's got a great size, great speed. If you watch him his freshman year, he's a technician. I know he didn't play as well his sophomore year, but he was injured. Like I said, if he's healthy, this guy's a stud.
All right, number 2 for me in the summer was Kair Elam, and my number 2, or 1B now, is Ahmed Sauce Gardner.
All right, before you get into Sauce, I'm just going to tell everybody right now, my number 2 in the summer was Andrew Booth Jr. My number 2 now, just like Sean had Sauce number 4 in the summer, put him to 2 now. I have number 4 in the summer, and I have Sauce number 2 now. That way we can discuss them at the same time.
Perfect. When you get a nickname like Sauce, you got to live up to it. And he did. He's going to lock you down, man-to-man coverage. He's got good reaction. He's got that physicality.
How many touchdowns did he give up in his career?
Yeah. No, he was. I mean, they even put him on, the bigger targets. Since I put him on Notre Dame's tight end Michael Mayer, and he was able to hold his own there. He has the physicality.
In the playoffs. Even in the playoffs against Bama, Bama was afraid to throw at him.
He held Bama to 14 yards when he was targeted.
Yep.
So that was good. He may need to tone down the physicality in the NFL, though, because that might lead to some penalties.
Get it. Let's do it. Let's go. But no, again, size, speed, height, weight, speed, specimen. And, something like every challenge has been put in front of him, he's lived up to.
Yeah.
All right. Now let's talk about the last two. As you guys can guess, we flopped some guys here. So, Sean, go ahead. Cat Daddy, go ahead. Number 1 guy.
Number 1 in the summer was Derek Stingley Jr., and now it is still Derek Stingley Jr. He had an excellent freshman year, one of the best years. The next 2 seasons fell short by comparison. In 2020, he was playing through, I think, a leg injury. 2021, his season was cut short due to a foot injury. It could start to raise a red flag about durability. I hope it doesn't, but yeah, you gotta have that in your mind. You gotta think, all right, is he going to be durable? He had 1 good year. Next 2 were kind of cut short, were affected by injuries. Combine, medical checks, those are going to be huge for him. There's a lot of upside. He's got size, he's got ability, he's got speed, he's got length. Young. There are really no negatives about the actual game. The only negative that we hear is the durability. Potential is through the roof, so for right now, he's still CB1 for me.
All right, my CB1, or in the summer, it was Derek Stingley. Now it's Andrew Booth Jr. And Andrew Booth Jr. has size, he has speed, and with that size and speed, he's the second most physical corner in this draft. The most physical one is Trent Mcduffie, but Trent McDuffie does not have the size and speed of Andrew Booth Jr. The show, and he's also showed this year, because one of the things Cat Daddy, if you remember in the summer, wanted to see was more of that coverage skills, and he proved it this year that he can cover. He can consistently cover, but some of these tackles and wrapping up. I remember some of those games. it was like but then he cleaned up to some good stuff, and he put it on tape. So I honestly think that he will be the first corner off the board. It's going to be, so whoever gets him is going to get a legit set. Whoever gets any of these 3 are going to be getting a legit set. Probably the top 10 corners, let's be honest.
This is a really good, really deep cornerback class. So if your team comes into the draft, you need a cornerback, you're in a good spot this season.
All right, next up, safety. Let's jump right in. Number 5 in the summer, Cat Daddy.
I had Daxton Hill from Michigan this summer. My number 5 now is going to be Jalen Petrie from Baylor. He's listed as a safety, but with his size and abilities, he's deployed almost like Jamal Adams is used. Run supports, blitz, and then coverage. Baylor used him at both safety spots. They used him at multiple linebacker spots. And for me, that's a huge positive because that just shows that you have a very high level of football intelligence if you're playing 4 positions. He's going to make his money with run supports and blitzing. He's got good instincts, physical style of play, excellent tackler. He might be one of the better run defending defensive backs in his class. Just don't ask him to do a whole lot in coverage, kind of like Jamal Adams.
So here's the thing. I had Jaquan Brisker as my number 5 in the summer. My number 5 now is also Jalen Petrie. And let's note this, people. There are a bunch of guys who we had on our list in the summer who aren't on our list now because they opted back into the play college football next year. Petrie might not be on our list of guys like Jordan Battle or
Brandon Joseph
decided to come out. But with that said, Petrie's going to be one of those tweener players. One of those, there's this new thing for the NFL, these tweener players, the Kyle Duggars, the what's the guy on at Carolina?
Jeremy Chin.
The Jeremy Chins. I know he's not as big as them, but that's the style of play he plays. He plays one of those tweener playing plays. Like the Cowboys brought in Jaron Kearse. It's that linebacker safety hybrid role where they're going to be, if he is in coverage, he's probably in coverage against a tight end. All right, number 4.
All right, number 4 in the summer, I had Jaquan Brisker from Penn State.
Hey,
hold on.
Yep. And number 4, I had Jordan Battle from Alabama. It's because we both have the same number 4. Actually, almost our whole list is the same, so we'll just go that way. Say who our number 4 is.
All right, our number 4 is Lewis Seen from Georgia.
And I guessed the Georgia guy was going to be in the top 5. I just guessed the wrong guy.
Is he athletic? Yes. Is he hard-hitting?
Extremely. Extremely. This is the guy, if you want to say needs to tone it down, he's the one who needs to tone it down. Holy moly. I mean, not penalties, targeting penalties.
Yeah, he needs to watch out for that. Overall, the athleticism and the hard-hitting ability is a great combination to have because it's going to really help him in coverage.
He can also cover.
He's got the length and the strength. So I expect him to be strong safety, maybe a box safety role where he plays close to the line of scrimmage. He should be able to jam a receiver pretty well. He'll be playing a lot of man.
All right, so next up, I want you to say your 3 and 2. We have the same players, just different orders. So say your 3 and 2 for the summer. Then I'll say my 3 and 2 for the summer, and then we'll get into who we have now.
Oh, this is where we're different. Okay. All right. Number 3 in the summer was Brandon Joseph from Northwestern, but he opted to return and transfer to Notre Dame. And my number 2 in the summer was Jordan Battle from Alabama, and he opted to return to Alabama this year.
My number 3 was Tyke Smith from Georgia. I believe he also opted for return. And then my number 2 was Brandon Joseph. You already spoke about him. Now, for both of us, 3 and 2 respectively, is Daxton Hill, who's my number 3 and Cat Daddy's number 2. And then Jaquan Brisker, who is my number 2 and Cat Daddy's number 3. Both of these guys, athletic specimens. I mean, Daxton Hill's said to possibly run in the 4.3s. Jaquan Brisker can play literally anywhere on the field. And I mean, these 2 guys showed up. These are 2 guys who showed up and showed out during the season. Now, I think Brisker probably gets a little bit more of a pop from a lot of people because he had a lot more of those flashy plays than Daxton Hill. But Daxton Hill, still showed up and showed out as much as anyone else. These two guys are going to help whatever defense that they go to. They are literally both free safety center fielders, something that is rare to find in the draft, and we got two.
Yeah, these two are very close. This is where I had my biggest debate about putting Skyler the rankings for cornerback and safety. Were these two right here? So I was going back and forth. Okay, well, Brisker 2, Hill. I'm like, no, I gotta do Hill 2, Brisker.
It's hard.
3.
It's hard, right?
I mean, the easy part was our number 1, and then you have Hill, Brisker, and then you have Lsu, and then Jalen Petrie.
Right.
Jaquan Brisker is my number 3. He makes big plays. He makes big plays in big moments. It's like 2A and 2B, right? He's my 2B. He has size and speed that's going to allow him to play both free safety, strong safety spots. He's shown good awareness and coverage. He excels in
zone. He can play linebacker.
He's got the size to do it, and he's not afraid to get physical with the ball carrier. He brings him down, and it's aggressive. He brings him down. I like Brisker. I like Daxton Hill just like that much more. Wasn't a whole lot.
I got a great comp for our number 1 guy.
Ooh. All right. Daxton Hill was asked to do a lot in Michigan's defense this season. He was listed at safety, but he really spent a lot of the season playing a slot cornerback role. And he also has the ability to play outside corner. He makes good reads in zone coverage. He has the speed and the ability to play man coverage if he needs to. Not afraid to make tackles in the run game. Can be used as a blitzer. He's got a nice combination of physicality and awareness. He's very quick to process the action and make the plays. And that's just why he's just a shade over Jaquan Brisker right now.
All right, so number 1, it's to no one's surprise because he's probably still our number 1 player in the nation. That would be Kyle Hamilton out of Notre Dame. I don't care if he got injured. Dude's still a monster unicorn player. And I mean it. I don't use terms like generational or unicorn or anything. I do now with this guy. And I just said I have a comp for him. Sean Taylor.
Ooh, I like that.
It's literally what I'm thinking of. It's one player that's like scary. The range that Sean Taylor had, I see it. The size and the range. No one should be allowed to be that big and that fast.
Yeah, he's 6'4", 220, and he moves. He moves so quick, sideline to sideline. It doesn't matter where he's on the field. He's going to be involved. He's going to be.
This is Micah Parsons in the secondary.
Yeah.
Be glad the Cowboys can't have both of those guys.
Yeah, they shouldn't. They shouldn't. But could you see? I mean, Kyle Hamilton's number 1 on my big board. I don't think there's any secret of that over the past.
He should make it out the top
6
5.
months, right?
He should not.
Number 1 on my big board.
He should not make it out the top 5. A guy who reminds anybody of Sean Taylor, and you agree he should not make it out the top 5.
Shouldn't, but positional value. Where
NFL, be stupid. Be stupid and let him fall to 24.
I know. Let him fall to the Packers. That would be fantastic. He's got the size where some teams have thought, well, let's put him at linebacker. Fine, whatever. Linebacker, safety, still number 1 the big board, still one of the best talents in this class. He's going to be one of those guys that the offensive coordinator is going to have nightmares scheming away from.
People, stop that. Stop that. Don't say, let's put him at linebacker. I just saw it with Micah Parsons this past year. Positionless. Put him where he is needed on snap-to-snap basis.
You know how
smart enough to handle it. Just let him play football, man. Just let him play football. Tell him this is your assignment on this snap. Go do it. Let it be free safety. Let it be strong safety. Let it be covering the tight end. Let it be in run support. Let it be in the box. Let it be outside corner. I don't care. Let it be rushing off the edge as a blitzer. I don't care. Put him where he is needed, and he will get it done.
He's got versatility. He's got ridiculous ability and athleticism. It's just bananas. You remember when Tyreek Hill was coming out into the draft and they didn't know what position to label him as? They just said offensive weapon. They should just call Kyle Hamilton defensive weapon or defensive nightmare.
One of these guys comes out every year. Let it be Micah Parsons. Let it be Isaiah Simmons, who Arizona apparently finally figured out how to use this year. Let it be the guy who used to be in Arizona, who's now in Carolina. What's his name?
Hassan Reddick.
Hassan Reddick. These are just defensive weapons.
Yeah.
Put them on the field, say, do this, and go.
I think Kyle Hamilton's probably the only player of everybody that we've talked about in the past couple of weeks where you can look at and say, I don't know what the flaw is with his game.
I don't. Not really. All right, folks. That's all she wrote for this episode. We'll be seeing you again next week. We'll be previewing the Super Bowl. We'll be talking about the Senior Bowl. We'll probably be talking about more craziness in the NFL because the NFL is just a nutty place. So, see y'all soon.